Red, ladies in red, ladies in red, ladies in red. Discuss the latest news, just fans giving their views. This channel is red. They see the bar and raise it, plus they rep for the ladies. Trust it's red. Female voices in football. Red. If you want to talk up, it's a red channel for me and you. Subscribe and tune into the ladies in red.
Hi guys, welcome back to Ladies in Red. I hope you are all doing well. Sorry for the delay in getting back live. Obviously, I've been on holiday and whatnot. I went to Egypt, I went to Scotland, but I'm getting back into it now. Now the season's started as well. And obviously, there's plenty to talk about as well. On the pitch and off the pitch, I'm sure you'll all agree there's plenty that we can discuss tonight. And obviously, I'm here to listen to your views, take your calls. And like I always say, it's not just United fans who are invited. All fans are welcome, but I am aware there's a lot of United fans who want to talk right now. Like I said, there's a lot to delve into. But of course, there is some positive news today. Casemiro is signing. Yeah, he isn't wearing the shirt yet, so you know me, I'll never get sucked in. But yeah, he's signing. Here it goes from Fabrizio. And I don't know about you guys, but it's hard to get excited about that signing, even though I love Casemiro. I think he's a great player. And I'm buzzing to see him in a red shirt, but it's hard to get excited when we all know what the real issue is, and that issue is still there. But nonetheless, Casemiro is a great player, a great signing, and I'm excited to see him. I can see shows up waiting first. I'm going to get show on very, very shortly. Guys, the link is in the chat. It's pinned also in the description. If you want to jump on and have a chat about your team, please feel free to hit that link and yeah, come and chat to me. So firstly, we've got Show. Show, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, so how you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. I'm doing good. Considering the state of our club, I'm not too bad. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay. I mean, obviously, we've had a lot of talk in the last couple of days, new owners, whatnot, and now suddenly a new signing. It's been a lot going on.
There's a lot to say the least, for sure. I mean, I lost count of how many players we were linked to the other day. I went on Statman Doug's channel, and we were relaying all the names that we've been linked to. And it's just, as a United fan, I mean, I don't know about you, but I kind of feel like numb to it now. It got to a point where, with De Jong in particular, that saga going over and over and over, where in the end I just kind of gave up on that in myself, so I didn't cling on to that at all because I just kind of felt it's never going to happen. Now, obviously, we've got Casemiro, but we have to talk about it. How, Show, do we go from Rabiot to Casemiro? How?
I'll be honest, yeah. Casemiro, I've seen a lot of our fan base gassing about the signing. I think it's a terrible signing.
Yeah. Why? Why do you think it's terrible?
Well, the thing with this, yeah, if we sign Casemiro at the beginning of the window, then I kind of accept that it's part of the plan because we got the signing done early. Yeah. But the fact that we've done it now, number one, the talk came out about Casemiro Thursday evening, coincidentally at the same time when all the Ratcliffe talk was going on. I don't think that's a coincidence. Number two, we got it done in a day, right? When do we ever sign players in a day? Never.
It's true.
Yeah?
It's true, yeah.
And number three, in 2 days' time, there's a planned protest. So I just think this signing is just to shut the fans. We've seen it before. Failed window.
Of course,
we sign a big name at the end of it. Fans get gassed. It's happening again, right? And the reason I'm not gassed about the signing is because we got Erik ten Hag in, right? And the whole remit behind Erik ten Hag, I thought, was we're going to change our recruitment. We're going to target younger players. We're going to start a proper rebuild. What do? We signed a 30-year-old DM. Doesn't make sense to me. I don't care if it's Casemiro, who the name is or what. For me, if you're going to back Erik ten Hag properly for a long-term, that's the key thing, long-term project, right? You don't sign a 30-year-old DM. You don't.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with you. I don't think it was part of the plans. Hence why I say, how can you go from Rabiot? I don't think there is a plan. And I agree with you about it's hard to get gas. Look, I'm not going to deny I don't think he's a good player. I think he's a great player. But we seem to make every player bang average when they come to United. Do you know what I mean? I'm not here gassing him up thinking, oh, he's going to be a wonder. Like, obviously, he's got to come and settle and whatnot, and he's coming into a struggling team.
Someone's calling me a buzzkill in the comments, yeah. But look. The thing
it's hard to get gassed. I get it completely.
No, do you know what? Yeah. Do you know why I'm saying it? Yeah, is because I've seen it before with other players when we've got big names in before, it hasn't worked.
But you can't deny he does improve our midfield that we've got.
No, I agree.
Right now.
I agree. But
you know what I mean?
to say he improves our midfield is a low bar because anyone would improve our midfield. The point is getting players in that fit a project. Like what's the vision in getting him? That's what it just seems to me is like we needed a midfielder. He's a name. needed to shut the fan base up. We got Casemiro, and it seems to have worked. A lot of the fans seem to have got gassed about it. But I remember 5 years ago when we signed Matic, we were saying the exact same thing. We were saying we got one of the best midfielders in the league. He was probably the best DM in the league at the time, Matic, right?
Yeah.
We signed him. He was 29. People were like, "Oh, look, Chelsea laughing at Chelsea. Oh, look, we stole 35 million. Is a bargain." His legs went after a year, and we kept him an extra 4 years, way past his sell by date. And the thing I'm worried about is, look, Casemiro may or may not work out. I don't know. Yeah. What I'm worried about with Casemiro is that, let's say if his legs give out after a year, like Matic did, yeah, is the board going to accept that he's a failed signing and then sign a younger one in a year's time? No, because we gave him a 4-year contract. So the same thing will happen with Matic. We'll keep him another 3 years, and we're going to say, well, look, we spent 50 million on him last year. It doesn't matter whether he's bad or not.
Yeah. No, it's good. Look, the caliber of player that we're getting, I think, is quality. I'm not going to deny that, but we know there's issues beyond that. We know that he wasn't part of the plan. We know that we are panicking. We're throwing money around. We've paid a lot of money for someone who's 30, like you've already mentioned there. And of course, there's a lot of doubts about the deal as well. There always is when we do business. There's always doubts.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking, would I rather be going into the season with Casemiro or McFred? That's where my head's at.
I get it, but that's this is the trap that the Glazers put us in, right? They give us so much shit for years that when we get anyone in, it's almost like the fans have no choice, but we have to be happy about it, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you don't be happy about it, it's like, oh, what more do you? But it's just like, I wanted to see this summer for the first time. We got in the right manager, in my opinion. I wanted Ten Hag over Pochettino, right? And I wanted to see for the first time a proper recruitment strategy for once, right? I thought we got the right manager for it for once. And we were told, right? This doesn't mean the club was saying, changing recruitment, there's a change in strategy, we're going to target younger players, we're going to start a proper rebuild. And now it's like 2 weeks before the end of the window, suddenly Casemiro, right? After not signing a midfielder the entire window. It's a different thing if we signed a younger, let's say, midfielder and then Casemiro as well. Then I'm like, you know what? I get it. Fair enough.
Could still happen, to be fair. Could.
Could. Yeah, could. If it does, fair enough. But if it's just Casemiro, then I'm like, well, in 3 years' time, is Casemiro still going to be at his best? You're going to have to buy another DM. Are you going to buy another DM in 2-3 years? I don't think so.
Interesting points. And I think it's going to be very mixed on Casemiro. I've seen it already on Twitter today. A lot of people are mixed on it.
I think by the way the comments are going, I'm definitely in the minority because people don't like what I'm saying. But I think most of them.
But I think we all know there's a problem bigger. So that's why we're saying it's hard to get excited because we all know obviously there's a big objective here. No matter who signs, that's what we're looking at. And I totally am on board with that.
I'm worried with this signing now. What the protests are going to be like on Monday. If it's going to still be the full. Nah, I think because let's put it this way: end of last season, right? I remember before the Brentford game, there's going to be something big, right? And because we were winning 3-0 at home to Brentford in a meaningless game, fans sacked it off, and that was just like a meaningless game. We were winning 3-0 in terrible form, and fans sacked it off. Now Casemiro, from what I've seen on Twitter from the United fan base, right? People seem to be really gassed about that signing, and I really think this is just a classic Glazer approach to try and affect the protests on Monday. Because I think they're really worried about the protests on Monday because there's a lot of traction with it. This one.
Let's talk about obviously before you go the Sir Jim Ratcliffe rumours. Obviously, rumours are he's interested in the club. Obviously, he's interested in United. There's been a lot of talk about it lately. Obviously, with this protest coming up as well, we all know it's hard to what to believe, what not to believe, and what not. But yeah, what's your thoughts on that? Would you be behind Jim Ratcliffe taking over?
Yeah, the thing about Ratcliffe is he knows his football. That's a big thing for me. He already owns a club in Nice. He runs that in the right way. The way I've seen him talk about United, he understands the issues, so he recognizes it. And he talks about it as a football club, not as a financial. He doesn't talk about it like a business. And he's talked about the issues regarding recruitment and things like that. So it tells me he understands what's going wrong at the club. So I like that. The issue is to try and get the club off the Glazers is such a hard. That they're just not in a weak position. The Glazers. That's the issue. They're not in a vulnerable position, and I know there's talks to sell the minority, the Class A shares. That's not going to give Ratcliffe really a proper stake in the club. What I'll be glad if it happens, because at least he's got his foot in the door. Maybe he can start to do stuff from within. I don't know. But I still think in terms of a full ownership change, it's going to be probably years before we even see anything. Because with the Glazers, there's just, look, we've seen how stubborn they are, right? They're always going to get dividends. They're always going to pull it out every year. They're always going to make money from the club because we're such a big brand. What will change their mindset is if we spend maybe 4 or 5 years out of the Champions League, because that would affect sponsorship, brand deals, etc., etc. That would change their mind. So if we were out of Champions League for a long, long time, I think the Glazers would sell. But until that happens, I don't think they will.
You don't think it'll happen soon? Well, we'll see. Hopefully that protest on Monday does still go full steam ahead, like you mentioned. Hopefully the signings don't appease any of that. On Twitter, the consensus is everyone is kind of focusing on that end goal, which is good to see. So in the past, I think, like you say, people have kind of been blindsided by these big name signings coming in at the end of windows.
Yeah.
But look, the way that this window has gone, the fact that we're not signing these players until the season has already started, I think that tells you everything that you need to know when you've got a new manager and you want to start a clean slate, if you like, and work on your project. You can't do that when you haven't got the personnel in, can you? So it's been a mess from the start, and I don't think any of us are under the illusion that it hasn't been. But yeah, I like Casemiro. I think he's a good player, and I'm sure he's going to do well for us. But as I keep mentioning, there's obviously other issues at hand that need to be attended to, and we can't be blinded by that signing at all. But Sho, thank you so much for coming on. As always, I love chatting to you. Even though we sometimes have different opinions, I love it, man. It's class. So thank you, and I hope you obviously join me again next time, but appreciate it. And yeah, guys, Sho, let people know they can follow you on Twitter as well, because I know that you put quite a lot of stuff out on Twitter as well.
Yeah, my Twitter handle is just like it's Sho_RAHMAN. So if you want to follow me, follow me. If not,
go and give him a follow. All right, Sho. Have a good day, you. All right, take care. See you.
Bye.
Bye. So there was Sho with the first one. You know, I've quite strong feelings on Casemiro. I'm interested to see how other people react to that as well. I think this is going to be a good show. So I'm going to get straight into the next one. Obviously, we've got Malcolm there waiting. So Malcolm, I'm going to come to you in 1 second. And I will keep reiterating as well. As you can see, I've got a Chelsea fan, I've got a Liverpool fan in there waiting as well. All fans are welcome. All fans are welcome on here, and it's just talk about football issues and talk about what you want to get off your chest. And like I say, United fans at the minute have got a lot to get off their chest, but I'm sure there's other fans who want to talk as well. And we've got Malcolm. Malcolm, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Soph. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Is that a Brazil shirt you got on there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell now. Yeah. I know.
Love it.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm getting gassed, but I don't know. It was just a weird coincidence that I just wore a Brazilian shirt when I heard that Casemiro was coming. But yeah, we move.
I need Real Madrid. I've got the Real Madrid. Doug is waiting there. He's not going to like what I'm about to say. I've got the Real Madrid shirt that we wore in the Champions League final last year, the limited edition with the Champions League winners on it and stuff. And it's also got number 14 on the back of it, obviously. So,
wow.
14, I thought, do I wear it for this game? I thought, no, I'm not going to wear it. But yeah. I nearly wore it on Doug's show the other day, actually. But I thought, no, I'm not going to do that. That's too salty. So I'm not going to do that. But yeah, how are you feeling about Casemiro then? Like you just heard Sho talking about him. I've said it's been very mixed. Obviously, he's a great player, but we don't want to be blindsided by obviously everything else that's been going on. I mean, where do you stand with the signing?
I don't know. I'm sort of having mixed feelings about it, to say, per se. Yeah. But I mean, obviously, he is a fantastic player. Like, there's no doubt about, like, you can put that aside. You know, he's won everything we could ever think of. You know, the Champions League, La Liga. Yeah. I mean, he's won, as I was saying, he's won everything that you could ever think of. Champions League, La Liga, the Super Cup. You know, I mean, he's been, you know, a very vital part of Real Madrid's success. Yeah. And so, I mean, the fact that he's coming here, it was just from out the blue. Like, let me just start by saying that, you know, I mean, like, we sent this guy overnight. But I mean, I'm not gonna say that. Oh, he's finished. You know, his age, and he's gonna flop. Like, you know, he's better than what we got. He's obviously better than McTominay and Fred. So, he's obviously gonna do. You know, bits for our midfield. Like, he's obviously gonna put something that we've been, you know, we've been thriving for, in the midfield. We have always said that we need a DM, and so we have now we have a DM in Casemiro. So we just have to
Yeah.
wait and see. But
So, in terms of the midfield, do you see there are rumours that we want to sign up to 5 players before the end of the window, which personally I can't see happening. We already know we're in a state of panic, so who knows? But there are rumours that we could possibly get another midfielder, or do you think it will be that Fred and Casemiro midfield link up, or will it be the Casemiro with Eriksen and Bruno? Like, what do you see as our midfield next season?
At this point, I think it's just gonna be Casemiro and basically just the rest that we have from like last season. But I mean, I don't know about getting another midfielder. I mean, obviously now with the De Jong situation, I think that's cooled down now. I think the Ten Hag and the board have now accepted that it's looking a little bit sticky at the minute. But I mean, you never know in this transfer window. Like, anything can happen. So we just have to keep on the lookout. But as of right now, I don't think we are in the position to really sign any of the player right now. But I mean, you never know what's happening behind the scenes. Like,
We are
we
close,
could get.
apparently. I was going to say Anthony from Ajax. Obviously, we've already been in for him several times. We were putting a bid in the other day for him. Obviously, Ajax rejected it, but apparently Anthony today, he went to the club, didn't train. He just trained in the gym, not with the team, because it seems like he could be obviously hinting that he wants to move, or more than hinting, could be requesting to move to United. Is that a deal that possibly excites you? I mean, we will be spending a lot of money on Anthony, but it seems he does want to come to us, which obviously is always a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, besides the money part, I mean, Anthony, we do need Anthony to fill up that right wing position, but um we just have to see how the board handles it. Like, we have to make sure that the player that we want to get have to be in by the end of this transfer window. But as I said again, I don't know if we are able to get as much players that we need by the end of the transfer window. So we have to wait.
You think it's too late?
Yeah, but I mean, as I said, we never know. Like, we could get Anthony like in the next week or so, but yeah.
Well, fingers crossed we do. I mean, that would be very nice. Casemiro, obviously, you're happy with that signing. He's wearing that Brazil shirt. Pride, I love that. But yeah, obviously, we have got Liverpool. I'm going to end on this one. We have got Liverpool on Monday. Are you fearing the worst for that game? Like, what would you say your prediction is for that one?
At this point, I can't even. I'm not. I don't think I'm even going to give any predictions, because I feel like when I give predictions, it's like I feel like I just keep.
If you get the opposite, you expect to win to lose 3-0. If you always get it wrong, then maybe go for that, and then hopefully you are wrong.
I don't know. I just feel like whenever I say something about this team, or if I predict something about this team, it's like it always ends up being the opposite, or something more worse or more surprising just happens. So at this point, I think I'm just gonna let it play. I think I'm just gonna let the game play out as it should. I'm not gonna say that I am scared of Liverpool, because I know obviously, like,
I am.
Like, even though they have John their first 2 games, even though they have dropped punts, like, I'm not gonna really take.
It's a hard game to predict, isn't it?
It's a hard game to predict. So we have to see. We have to see if Ten Hag is gonna change a lot, of the squad. Obviously Casemiro is not gonna be able to, be in that squad, because of the visas and everything. Medicals have to be done. Contracts have to be signed. So there's still a little while until the official announcement comes out. But it has Ten Hag. If you want to actually if I actually want to get something out of this game, the squad needs to change. We have to see, a fresh like lineup. Like, we can. I don't want to see Maguire, McFred. The team that started like against Brentford, like, we can't have that. I guess.
You're expecting a few changes.
Yeah, because if you have the same team, if you select the same team that play against Brentford, then Liverpool are just gonna pick us apart. You know what I mean? So
well, hopefully that doesn't happen.
Hopefully it doesn't
Malcolm.
happen, but yeah,
Hopefully it doesn't happen. Well, thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate it, and it's been great to talk to you. Yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, Malcolm, let people know where they can find you on social media as well. If you want people to give you a follow, just let them know your handles.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter. Just type in my name, my first and last name.
Yeah, put it in on the chat. Put it on the chat, and people will definitely give you a follow.
Yeah.
And have a great evening, Malcolm. Look after yourself.
Okay.
All right. Take care.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye. I am actually going to get a different team, so I can see Doug waiting there now. Doug is obviously a Liverpool fan for those who don't know, so I think it'd be interesting to see Doug's thoughts on United's business so far, especially going into that game. So yeah, Doug, how are you doing?
Hello, Sophie. Thank you very much for having me. I hope you're well. And
yeah, I'm good, thanks.
I think whoever says Casemiro is not a good signing, I think you should just look at what he's won.
I mean, that's always a good thing to focus on, isn't it? Especially with a player of his stature as well. I get people talk about the age thing, Doug. Obviously, he's 30, which isn't ideal when when a new manager, you think would want to focus on bringing the youth through in a long-term project. But for me, there's still a lot of football to be played. Thiago Silva signed for Chelsea, and people were saying how good of a signing that was. So, is it that just what is with the reaction with the age? Like, where do you stand on that as a Liverpool fan?
We signed Thiago. He was 30.
Yeah,
he was 30 when he signed. So. I don't get this hypocrisy, to be honest with you. Obviously, if Thiago Silva's 37, Thiago's 30, and Casemiro at 30 is a very, very good signing. And you have finally got that central defensive midfield position now sorted.
Yeah.
I think that was a position you guys have been badly, badly needing, because you can't keep playing McFred. Because it's just a bit of a disastrous, midfield as well. But I do feel for him, because he is going from playing with Kroos and Modric to Fred and McTominay. But it is a very, very good signing, and he will undoubtedly change your midfield and transform it for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely a good signing. A lot of United fans are pulling their hair out saying it's typical United. When we let Pogba go when we needed a CDM who's disciplined enough to accompany him. And now obviously Pogba's not there, and they were saying we've got Casemiro, we need a perfect 8 to accompany him. Like, where do you feel like, if you're looking at United's midfield going forward, if we don't sign any more midfielders, like, what would you say our strongest midfield is going into the season now?
I would say probably at this moment in time, probably Casemiro, Fred and Eriksen. Yeah,
and you'd drop Bruno out of that.
I would drop Bruno out of that.
Yeah, I at this stage in time, I'm thinking Eriksen over Bruno as well. On my show with you the other day, I did say that. I'd say I would drop Bruno for Eriksen, because I think based on form, that is what should happen. But it'd be interesting. I think game by game, obviously, it'll vary. Some games you need to be a bit more disciplined in and whatnot. And the games where you can kind of go for it a little bit more, maybe you might see Bruno and Eriksen, who knows? But it's going to be an interesting one. And you are right, that midfield position was crucial for us. What's your thoughts on? Let's talk about Darwin Núñez for a second. Obviously, he was your big signing this summer coming in, because that's the other night against Palace. A lot of people kind of jumping on that. I've seen on Twitter saying, "Oh, he's shown his true colours. Now he's going to struggle." Am I right in thinking he never really gets sent off though? Was that kind of an out the blue thing?
He's only been sent off once, and I think it was for Almeria in the Segunda Division 2. I think.
Yeah.
So he doesn't get sent off very often. But yeah, he completely lost his head. Funnily enough, him and Jan Anderson were actually at it in the friendly in Singapore. So he should have been warned. By then. But Anderson did well and did very, very well. Harassing
it was
him.
The mind games, wasn't it? It was constant.
Yeah.
I saw the little collab on Twitter. Where
But I think the one thing as well, which really worries me, is that Premier League defenders will be looking at that and thinking, "Yep, get under his head and get into him, harass him." I think he will lose his head. I mean, the game he's potentially coming back to the Merseyside derby, I really hope he doesn't start that, because I can see already
Connor
Cody, Mason Holgate, Callum Patterson, Mikalenko all getting in his head.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, but hopefully, with Klopp there guiding him as well, he will learn his lesson. I'm saying hopefully, like I want that. Of course, I don't. I hope he loses his head every week, but you'd think that he will. He will kind of go into that. And so, Brush, thank you so much for popping in. I appreciate the message. He's on Grizzly's channel, so he can't join us live right now. But yeah, I'll get you on a panel show for sure, Brush. We definitely have plenty that we need to break down and chat about. So thank you for that. And he also has put there, smash the like. So please do hit the like, guys, if you haven't already. As has Curtis, thank you for that. But yeah, the game on Monday. I mean, when we were trying to give lineups the other day, it was like the hardest to predict for both of us, really. It's the most unpredictable game. Realistically, you guys should smash us, but I'm sure you'll be the first to say you haven't exactly got off to a flying start as well in the league this season. Do you think this game on Monday kind of could be the start of the season for both teams, really?
This is the most unpredictable Liverpool-Manchester United game I can remember. From like obviously like watching it in like the 90s and then obviously like the 2000s, like you grow up and it's the one game you look forward to this season for sure. But there's both starts that both sides have made. I mean, we've got 2 points. I know I know you're like bottom of the league, but
we could overtake you though.
You could exactly. If you win on Monday, you absolutely overtake us. So I think this game is huge for anybody for the team that wins. Then it's basically morale boosting, and they can start their season. If you guys win, as I said the other night, it's going to be massive, and there'll be big questions asked for us if we lose this game.
Alex said, but at least Liverpool played well with 10 men. We don't play well with 11. Sometimes you see, especially from the better teams, though, sometimes going down to 10 can kind of improve your performance, weirdly, because players have to step up. Do you know what I mean? I feel like sometimes, and on the opposition, because obviously you're a bit more defensive and sitting a bit, you're a bit more compact, it's a bit harder for the opposition as well sometimes. It's almost like attack versus defence sometimes in games, isn't it? So not always when you go into 10, it makes the game easier, because it doesn't always happen that way. Alex, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Alex said there, Casemiro and Fred are the midfield partnership for Brazil. Just saying. Yeah, but we do have a habit of turning players into, I don't know, we space jam them at United. They come to United and they lose all the power. I don't know what it is. Hopefully that doesn't happen with Casemiro. But I am genuinely happy about the signing. It's just really hard to get excited when you see how shambolic this. You have to be aware, Doug. I mean, we listed a few the other day, but the amount of names that we have been listed to, it just takes the fun away from it, the fun away from transfers, because you're just so tired and you just want to get deals over the line. And finally, hopefully, we actually had a fast one in Casemiro.
I mean, Casemiro has come from absolutely nowhere.
It's like 48 hours to completion, I think.
That doesn't happen with Manchester United transfers.
No. But does that then is that like us being proactive, or is that then panicking? Do you know what I mean? And I think it's more towards the latter, because
I have a good analogy for this. If you've basically gone from trying to buy Rabiot from like Aldi or Lidl's, and you've basically gone up to Harrods to basically buy Casemiro. So you'd be hoping that somebody of that ilk, like an Anthony or someone else, comes in after that. To be honest, I would go and say this, but I think you need a right back now. I think that's the position to go out for next. We
do definitely need a right back. Show is giving his lineup, I'm guessing, for the Liverpool game. Then get yours in the chat, guys, as well. Let me know. De Gea, Delo, Varane, Martinez, Malacia, Garner, Iqbal, Ericsson, Sancho, Garnacho, Martial. A lot of changes. Of changes. I can't see that many changes, but I wouldn't frown at it. Like I said on yours the other day, play the kids. People have a bit of pride. Like, go for it. Martinez is an interesting one, because obviously a lot of people are focusing on his height and whatnot. I have read today he could possibly figure in that CDM role, because obviously he's played that in the past. But do you think you could see that against yourselves on Monday, and maybe Varane and Maguire being the centre backs?
Possibly, possibly. Because I don't think you'll play McFred. I don't see it. I honestly don't see it anyway. But I'll be honest. As I said, it's one of the most hard ones to predict for me, this game. Absolutely. Like, form goes out the window, as we both say. Very difficult one to predict, this game.
Go on and give us your prediction, Doug, before I move on to my next guest.
I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool.
3-1. I said I'll never bet against United, and I have optimistically said a draw on your channel the other day. I'm aware of that, and I'm going to stand by that. But it is wishful thinking. I'm not going to deny it. But we shall see what happens. But Doug, shout out your channel. Obviously, you're doing fantastic, constant content on there. Let people know where they can find you.
Yeah, the Dugout Football channel on YouTube, and I'm on Twitter, Enrod_992, Instagram, Douglas.horn, and you can also find me on Facebook at Douglas James Horn. But I don't really focus with Facebook, so the other three, you can just find me on there.
Go and give him a follow, definitely. Thank you, Doug, for joining me. I appreciate it. Thank you, and I'm sure I'll talk to you before Monday. Maybe go to Hyper Nation after Monday, but before Monday, I'm sure I'll talk to you. I'm joking.
No doubt. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye. There's Doug, obviously a Liverpool fan, interested to hear his thoughts on Casemiro coming in as a rival. Does that move concern him, if you like? Is it a move that he actually thinks is a good move for United? And I think all of us are saying it's a good move, but the context of it and everything else, obviously, that's coming around it, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered still, of course, in terms of our plan. I'm going to get Curlers up next because Curlers has been waiting a long time. Bless Curlers. How are you doing?
Very well. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
You're looking quite flushed there. I must have been you've been out in the sun.
You know what? Scotland, I told you, I got more of a sunburn in Scotland than I did in Egypt.
Yeah, it's been absolutely roasting up here.
I wasn't prepared for it in Scotland. That's what it was.
No, it was absolutely baking hot. It's been.
Yeah.
But yeah, a couple of points. I'll start backwards. The Ratcliffe deal has me concerned. I'm not buying into the fact that the Glazers are going to sell.
Yeah.
Because they said 2 weeks ago they definitely weren't selling. They were looking to sell a minority stake.
Yeah.
Which is not the same thing as selling the club
in
its entirety. I also doubt that they'll sell if they're spending money. Why would they spend money in players if they're going to sell?
It is a good point. Like, if there's a takeover potentially on the horizon.
Plus, there's also a thing there. Doug has just been on, but maybe he can, if he's still here, he can answer in the chat. Mike Ashley, a few years ago, tried to buy Rangers, I think it was.
Yeah.
Well, he was Newcastle owner, and the FA blocked it. I think there's a rule saying that you're not allowed to have more than one club.
Okay.
So I was just wondering if Doug would remember that, because I know there is a rule saying that in England, if you have a football team in England, you can't have another football team because there's a conflict of interest, especially if Ratcliffe owns is at Leon. Is that right?
Yeah.
And
is it Nice or yeah?
Is it Nice? I
think it's Nice.
Yeah. Right. And he also owns Lausanne, which is a Swedish team.
Yeah.
So if, for example, United were to draw one of those two teams in a competition, you've got conflict of interest.
It's a good point. I'm not sure where we stand with that. I haven't actually looked into that side of things. I haven't obviously planned that through, but I can see why you obviously have your doubts about the rumours that are going about at the minute.
As I say, it's just that I know that had surfaced due to the indirect dealings of Mike Ashley, and I'm sure it was Rangers, and I'm sure he tried, or it was made an inquiry, and he was told they couldn't buy Rangers because they had a football team in the UK.
That's interesting. Maybe that's something that I'll need to research and look into.
As I say, it's just when I had seen it, that was the first thing that popped up into my mind. Out with that, I suppose, the signing.
Aikabin has said something here about Leicester's owners own other clubs as well. So I don't see why Sir Jimmy can't buy United. If anyone else has any more insight in the chat as well, let us know. Obviously, if you have any more.
There was definitely an issue with Mike Ashley. And that stopped Ashley from taking it further. I'm sure it was Rangers. It was definitely a Scottish club. He was looking to buy. At the time, he had Newcastle. As I say, there's got to be a difference here between owning a club outright and maybe having a percentage say, like they had with Arsenal.
Yeah.
Because that's obviously what the Glazers have been trying to do to turn us into that farce, which is have X amount of owners, owning the club at the one time.
Yeah. It's interesting. I genuinely, I haven't even thought about that, to be fair. So the fact that you've just brought that up has now opened my eyes as well. I think that's something that we need to
as
look
I say,
into for sure.
when
What
I
I was going to say, sorry, Curtis. So, what's your thoughts? Obviously, we talk about the ownership, and obviously that's the more important issue right now. But we haven't made a signing. Casemiro was never in our plans or never a linked to player until now. What's your thoughts on him coming in?
Well, what can I say? We've officially lost our virginity. It's taken us 10 years, and we've finally got a CDM.
It's taken a while, hasn't it? Feels
Yes.
like an absolute eternity.
We'll all need a lie down after this. The only problem with signing that guy is this will need to still spend.
Yeah.
It can't just be brung in and he'll just be the fix. There needs to be at least one other midfielder in to do the running for him. And then he can just sit as the CDM and do what he does.
Yeah, I think he's a great player. And like you say, he's a CDM, he's a model CDM that I wanted us to look at the whole time. He's obviously a bit different from Frankie de Jong. He's not that kind of player. Do you, like, with Casemiro now coming in, obviously he's not going to be available for the Liverpool game, but what would your ideal midfield be then now, like going into the season? What's your strongest midfield in your mind?
Well, for me, it's obviously going to be Casemiro. It would obviously, you would have Eriksen there, but I would be going for Van der Beek.
Yeah.
That would be my three. I don't want to see McTominay or Fred in that role.
And Bruno, you'd drop for Eriksen?
I would probably at this moment in time drop Bruno. But in saying that,
Can't argue with that on form.
The way we're playing, I would maybe even push Bruno to play just behind a centre forward.
Yeah.
I'm not
the Ronaldo situation is still
he's
up in the air.
bothering me. That's the last thing on my rant, which is I'm a little sick of listening to this guy now because he's on complaining about how Ten Hag is acting like a child, punishing the team, making them do more workouts, etc., after the farce that was the Brentford game. And that's a nice way of putting that. And I just thought to myself, you played under Sir Alex Ferguson. When Manchester United had a bad game under Fergie, he brought them in and he made them work harder in the next training session. So, where are you going with this? If it was okay for Fergie to do it, it's got to be okay for Ten Hag when we basically just get posted by Brentford 4-0, and it was 4-0 going on easily on 8.
Because when Ten Hag come in as well, we were all saying, "Oh, these leaks are going to stop," and we're going to be live recruitment's going to be better. We're going to be more of a force in the transfer window. The leaks are still happening. Second, we had a bad performance. Those leaks came out again. I mean, you were right in saying earlier, you're just sick, and I think we're all just sick of the same old cycle, aren't we? We're sick of the same old. Last season, we've started the season how we ended last season, which is the worst possible way to start it, isn't it? But this Liverpool game on Monday, curlers, like, how's your mind going into that? And I see you've got a new fan in the chat, Sim as well. Hello to you. But yeah, who's like going into this Liverpool game? Who ideally starts for you? And are you confident at all?
I would drop Maguire. I would definitely have Varane starting.
Yeah.
I would actually drop Shaw. And I would have Malacia start. We're damned if we do and we're damned if we don't on the right back situation. But I would have Wan-Bissaka because I just don't rate Dalot at all. He offers no defensive coverage. So what's the point of having a defensive right back if he can't defend?
With Dalot, when we signed him, I remember people saying, "Oh, his final product's really good. He can cross a ball," which obviously is something that we really lacked. And I remember getting excited, thinking we've actually got someone who can cross a ball. The amount of times he overhits a cross or he just hits it out of play is just disappointing to say the least. I mean, we thought he'd be an improvement on Wan-Bissaka going forward, and he just isn't. He just isn't at all.
Yeah, so I would have Wan-Bissaka in there. At least he can defend, and then I would have the three midfielders. I would have Bruno playing just behind the front two.
Yeah.
And then I would have, I mean, the problem is this forward line right now because Ronaldo's in a huff and he wants to go, and Rashford is just awful.
Do you think those PSG links for Rashford as well probably have added to his ego, if you like? Like, I don't know what it is. It's just, I don't know. Rashford, I was hoping he'd hit the season running. I said, obviously, Rashford, I loved as a player, but last season I couldn't defend how he was. Not just his performances, but his attitude as well. Everything just didn't seem right. And this season, obviously, we've got off to a bad start again. I'm not just blaming Rashford because obviously we've been dreadful across the board. Like, it's not just Rashford, but there have been talks about apparently him being in talks with PSG. A lot of us feel it's just a way of United giving him a new deal. Is that your stance on it as well?
No, there's no smoke without fire with this guy just now. I think he wants to go.
Yeah.
And I think we should let him go.
Do you think he can reignite his career, Curlers? Like, if he did go to PSG, do you think actually Rashford could turn it around?
Well, he's one of those players. He's inherited what Martial has, which is this attitude. He plays when he wants.
Mm.
And that's okay if the team's winning.
Yeah. But when you're not, obviously we focus on that, yeah.
And as I say, with Ronaldo wanting to go, none of the forward line is working.
No. Obviously, we linked with the likes of Sesko, weren't we? Who obviously has now gone elsewhere.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
in terms of attacking options out there right now, like, is there anybody who in particular appeals to you who's available? Like, who you think we could get in before the end of the window?
well, I had said that they should have went for Belotti about a month ago.
Yeah.
And just bring him in and then get rid of Ronaldo. And then, I mean, the problem is whether or not they want to spend. Anthony is a good player. There's a lot of hate going towards that kid, and I feel sorry for it because it's not merited. The problem I have, I said it when I was on Twitter a couple of weeks ago, the fans are complaining that they want signings, and then we make signings, and then they complain about the signings that we make.
Yeah.
So, make your mind up.
It's true. It's so true.
Either you're supporting the team or you're not. If you're not supporting the team, you can basically just piss off because I don't need extra stress. There's enough of it on the pitch now without this snowflake mentality. Martinez getting hate. If you were on Twitter, you will have seen that. So it's okay for the entire team to be absolutely crap, but Martinez gets singled out.
I think Martinez is an easy target, isn't he, because of his height? I think straight away, like, that's all everybody was talking about when obviously we were linked with him. Now we've signed him. I think it's an easy thing to brand against Ten Hag. Oh, you signed this player and he's short and you conceded 4 goals against Brentford. Do you know what I mean? When realistically, like, the whole back four was shot to pieces.
That's what I'm saying.
It's an easy target.
Absolutely every single guy in the pitch against Brentford were shocking.
Yeah.
So
they were.
So why are you targeting him?
Just an easy target. It's like all the talk about Ronaldo after the game and stuff as well. And Ten Hag said today, like, I don't know why you're focusing on him when everybody was the same. Everyone's attitude was off. And I agree with that. Like, I think he's just an easy target. Ronaldo sells news. Obviously, we know that. So it's an easy one to target as well. But yeah, I think like the Martinez signing, I'm not too concerned about it. So at the minute, obviously, we haven't started the season well. I'm not that holding it against Martinez. I think time will tell with him, but a lot of people are writing him off early, which I think is the wrong thing to do. But Curlis, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. As always, like having a chat with you. Always interesting to hear your viewpoints as well. And yeah, sorry I've been so long. Apologies for the gap in my shows.
Yeah. So that will kill any rumour that Sophie won't come on when United lose.
No, I will. I promise you I will. To be fair, like I say, summer holidays for me, the 6-week holidays, obviously working as a teacher and stuff, content-wise, when the season's on a bit of a down, I'm normally away. This season's been a bit different because obviously having the Euros and stuff as well. There's been a lot going on. So it's kind of just muddled up, but football's back, so I'm definitely back on a more consistent basis. I promise you that. I need to listen to you guys anyway to de-stress me after United lose. That's the only therapy I think I'd get. Otherwise, I'd just sit in a corner and yeah, just mope.
Well, I just turned it off after 45 minutes last week. It was
I
just
don't know how I
unreal.
struggled through. I don't know how I stayed. Obviously, I was there at Old Trafford when we lost 5-0. I still don't know to this day how I managed to stay, but I stayed and I managed to stay and watch that. I don't know. I'm more capable of what I think. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
struggled through, but I did get through. But yeah, shocking. But Curlers, thank you so much for coming on. I will be doing a show, obviously a recap to the Liverpool game, but I am live with Maisie midday tomorrow if you guys are about to come and tune in. So that should be an interesting one. Doing a proper preview for that Liverpool game. But Curtis, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I hope you have a lovely evening.
Okay, take care.
Thank you, Curtis.
Bye.
Take care. Bye. James, thank you so much for the super chat. It's hi Sophie from Melbourne, Australia. Looking beautiful today. Thank you so much, and I hope you're doing good, James. And I really appreciate that. Thank you. And we've got Aikavin. Aikavin, how are you doing?
Not too bad, but in terms of United, I'm not doing well with United at all. Trust me. Trust me.
I think we're all the same. We have two levels to our well-being right now. It's the United side, and then it's just life. I'm okay in life, but
yeah, the roller coaster's only gone up, and is still being it's still a bad ride. It's still a really bad ride with the roller coaster.
Talk to them. What's your main frustration right now?
It's the Glazers. It's that's the only one. Well, except for having McTominay in front of midfield every week. The Glazers are the main issue with Man United Football Club right now, and I think the message is clear. On Monday, everyone needs to get together, unify the fan base. I think the fan base has been divided for 10 years now since Sir Alex Ferguson was retired, because ever since we've been bad, the fan base is divided on opinions and based on sentiment. Everything has been broken to half. This club's in pieces. I think what we need to do now is unite as a fan base on Monday, protest against the Glazers, make the voice clear. We already have a potential buyer at stake. I don't know if it's going to be a full. We don't know if it's going to be a full ownership or it's going to be a partial stake, because that's what I'm hearing. It's either going to be one or the other. But if the partial stake is the case, then I still think the Glazers have the full power, and that's not going to be good enough for Sir Jim Ratcliffe, because he needs to have the full ownership for this football club to go forward. I think it only makes sense to have full ownership, because thinking about it now, the Glazers have ruined this football club from top to bottom. They've hired people who we don't like, who are not experienced in every position. I just actually before going on the call, I went to look at Richard Arnold. He had no experience at any football club. He was working at, here it says, Intervoice Limited, 2002 to 2007. That has nothing to do with sports at all. That has nothing to do with sports. Man United just hired him because he's good at managing things. I don't think so. You're a CEO of one of the biggest football clubs in the world, but yet again, I mean, the Glazers is just hiring these puppets. We don't know who's coming in, who's coming out. John Murtough, another one of them. I don't rate the guy either. I don't think he's a good director of football or whatever position he works for. I really think says partial owners would be like Arsenal when they did it. But then again, I think Arsenal now, I think Arsenal having some people who work at the club, like for example, Edu, who actually used to play for Arsenal himself. Like we have Darren Fletcher now, but he's not been given a proper role at the club. Darren Fletcher is moving here and there. He's either in the director's box, and then he's in the dugout. But why is he in the? He shouldn't even be in the dugout. He should be in the office, working upstairs with the people. And then now we've done Ralph Rangnick really dirty. We've let him go.
The Ralph was the worst one for me.
That one, the open heart surgery was literally what he said, and that was that. He said he needed 10, 11 players. He was right. He got done by the Glazers because it's so protective of the players that we have today. Why does McTominay and Fred get a start every week, but Donny van de Beek does not? My question is, what has Donny van de Beek done to warrant to get put on the bench? I really don't understand. And
you know what? I'm going to come from a different angle here. Look, every time I've seen, and to be fair, I'd say at the start of the season he's actually been all right when he has played, but he's obviously had hit and miss. Like Donny, I've always said he doesn't take the game by the scruff of the neck, and he frustrates me because I really want him to do well. Like I'm rooting for him, and I really want to be like, oh, do you see what Donny's just done? But at the same time, he hasn't really been given a fair chance.
Yeah,
Even in
he
pre-season,
hasn't.
he's playing the second half team where it's mostly kids. No offense, but it's mostly kids,
Yeah.
and then Donny's put in there. He wasn't really in like an equipped team. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
Donny, for me, when he is given a chance, he has to take it with both hands. I think sometimes he seems like he's a bit passive, which when you're only given a limited amount of time, you can't be. Do you know what I mean? He needs to go and needs to show what he can do.
I think he needs to play more at the edge of the box, where he can play a ball in the final third more, because he's a good passer, Donny van de Beek. I like his passing. I think his passing is really good. He can find, for me, what he can do is he can get through some tight areas and find some good passes. And one of that example being, I don't know if you remember with the final minutes of the Atalanta game when we were 2-2. We were on. It was the last attack of the game. Donny van de Beek found a really good space in the box, and that's what I like. I like the movement of Donny van de Beek. He can get into some tight areas and pick out a good pass. Exactly, and that's what I want. I want to play more further forward because I think that's his best position. I don't think he should play as a number 6 or a number 8. He should play as a number 10 because that's what he did at Ajax. And for me, going forward, he can be a good playmaker because we've got now thinking about it, we have Casemiro behind him, right? Who can do the work for him defensively. He can go forward without having to worry about coming back and making and sweeping the midfield, because that's what Casemiro's job is to do. He's there to sweep the midfield, to sweep the area that the defensive area. He's there to protect the defense. But we never had that player, the anchor in midfield. We never had that player. It was always a donut. We always had that midfield, but we never had the defensive midfield. The whole was the donut. The whole of the donut is that defensive midfield. That's what we've been looking for. I think people saying Casemiro is an panic buy. It is, but is it a bad signing? No, I really don't think. Because let's think about it. Van Dijk, Kevin De Bruyne, Ronaldo, Thiago Silva are much older than him. People acting as if he's 45. He isn't 45. He just won the Champions League with Real Madrid, and they let him go.
Do you question his motives? Do you think it's purely money the way he's coming to United, or do you think it's a case of he wants a new challenge, which is obviously the quote that we always hear?
It really depends, because now we have a proper coach. Ten Hag is actually a proper coach. I think Ten Hag, he's had a bad start. I don't think anyone can deny the start was really bad, but that's not on Ten Hag. I don't think he has the squad ready in time for the season, and that's on the board. That's on the Glazers, because the Glazers should have got De Jong done by then, or we should have looked for alternatives. We should have gone for maybe Madison. We should have gone for maybe Tielemans, for example. Milinkovic-Savic is available. We should be going for alternatives, not chasing De Jong the whole summer. And that's what's let us down, because we've been chasing after one player for 3 months now. Negotiations are still ongoing, same old. And then now the bid's been the bid is expired or something, from what I'm hearing. The bid has been expired.
Should be, I'd imagine.
It should be expired because we put in the bid a long time ago. It's been accepted, but De Jong never agreed personal terms himself. We agreed with Barcelona, but De Jong never agreed with us. Exactly. 3.5 months De Jong killed us. We should have been looking for alternatives. And Ruben Neves, like you said, like you mentioned many times, I think is a great player. Ruben Neves is the perfect player for that midfield. He's quality. He can play a really good pass. He's a really good set piece taker. He can do a lot more. Like Eriksen. I think Eriksen should not be playing number 6 or number 10. We shouldn't even be playing a false 9. Eriksen going as a false 9. No, I think Eriksen should be more of a number 10, and we should play a pivot of Casemiro and Fred potentially. If he wants to start Fred, or maybe Donny van de Beek. We'll see. Because I still think that Donny van de Beek has a lot to offer for this football club. I don't think Donny van de Beek's career is over at United. If people think people think Donny van de Beek is done, I don't think so. I think he still has a lot. He still has a lot to prove under Ten Hag. He played with Ten Hag at Ajax.
I'm rooting for Donny, and I agree with this is kind of my stance on it. 3 managers haven't picked him, so now I'm thinking, well, there must be a reason for that. Even the manager who was singing his praises, saying it was a crime that he wasn't being played at United, he's not even playing for him. And I'm thinking. Exactly. So that tells you a lot, but at the same time, I kind of feel for him.
It's in the contract.
We'll see.
It's in the contract that McTominay is saying that he has to start every week if he's fit. Maguire has to be picked if he's fit. Rashford has to be picked if he's fit.
There's certainly some booky things going on with certain players. It's
just the bias that the board have, that they protect some of the English players. This is not me being offensive to any British player or anything. I rate a lot of British players, but these players are not good enough for United. I think McTominay, Rashford, and Maguire are just not good enough for United. I rate Jadon Sancho highly. I think he should be starting on the left over Rashford, and I think we should sign a new winger on the right hand side. And
But
I've
I
been hearing.
also think, I'm going to say, because I
Anthony.
know Rashford gets a lot of stick and deservedly
Yeah.
so, he's been poor. But Sancho, on the other hand, as well, we kind of had a free pass last year, being so new and whatnot.
Yeah,
This season, we're all expecting big things from him, and he hasn't looked good so far in a poor team. Hopefully, with these signings coming in, we get the best out of him. But yeah, for me, he doesn't escape criticism because he hasn't been good.
People look at preseason, but then preseason is no pressure football. It really is no pressure football.
Yeah,
It's so Sancho was thriving, but if you're playing in the Premier League, there's much more pressure now than when you've played in preseason. Preseason was just was all about getting fitness levels up, and you saw what Crystal Palace did. They didn't even bring their best players to Australia with them. They brought only the youth team with them. That's why they got spanked by us, because they only wanted to get some of the young players that are coming through fit. That the older players were ready. But Manchester United still haven't got anyone in. We didn't get Eriksen, Martinez in by preseason. We didn't get another central midfield. I still think we still need 2 8s and one more centre back, because it's time to drop Maguire for me. It's time to drop Maguire.
It is.
I think
we'll see what happens.
I think Varane and Bailly should be my centre back pairing. If you want me to tell you my lineup for Liverpool, I'll do that right now.
Yeah, go on. Give us your lineup.
I really don't want De Gea to start, but he's our only option, unfortunately. I've been De Gea's biggest fan. I really love David De Gea. I defended him after the Europa League final. I did. I was one of the few people who defended him after the Europa League final. The whole fan base was going crazy on De Gea. I protected him after the Europa League final. I said, you know what? It's all right. It happens. Goalkeepers are not expected to take penalties in training. They're not expected to take penalties. You can miss some, you score some. But his save percentage has been terrible from the spot. And at that Brentford game just sealed it for me. That was it.
So you'd start the Harry even though you think he should get dropped. So Tom
Heaton isn't a starter for me. He's not. We don't have a backup goalkeeper. We don't. That's the problem. We don't have a backup goalkeeper, and I think I was gutted when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer let Sergio Romero go. Trust me, I was absolutely gutted. I think he was a quality backup for us, and I still think at the age of 34, 32, 33, he was quality. And I still think he'd be good. He'd be a good fit now. But I think, I'm hearing rumors of Jan Sommer might be coming in, which would be good.
Yeah.
But I think Wan-Bissaka or Dalot, I'd go Wan-Bissaka, because I've seen enough of Dalot. He can't defend. He gets dribbled so easily. And you play against Diaz. That's done. If you're playing against Diaz, you're not gonna get a tackle against Diaz. He's gonna destroy you in one half. Center backs Varane and Bailly. Varane has to start. He's fit. He has to start now. It's Liverpool. Last season we got spanked by Liverpool because Varane wasn't playing. I think both those games Varane wasn't playing.
So Varane starts for you.
Varane and Bailly, because I saw Bailly against Liverpool. I know it's preseason, like I said before, but if Eric Bailly plays like the way he played against Liverpool in Thailand, just show some effort. Go win the ball, intercept the ball. Because I've seen Bailly before. He's thrown himself into tackles. He's flown into tackle before. I remember the one game against Aston Villa.
He gets injured a lot of the time because he's so rash with it.
I remember the one game against Aston Villa. He threw himself into that ball when he defended that last shot, and we won 2-1 in last year January. He threw himself into that ball. He threw himself into the ball, and we won the game. That was a game-saving tackle. So I'd go Varane and Bailly. At left back, Malacia. I think Malacia has shown some promising signs coming in. I think he's looked good going forward. He's promising going forward. Midfield, Martinez, CDM, because I don't think Casemiro. Fabrizio Romano said Casemiro is not going to be done for Liverpool.
No, he won't be done for Liverpool.
He's not done for Liverpool, so we're going to have to play Martinez. I would give Garner a chance, but seeing what happened with the board, I don't know what's going on with Garner. I hope he comes on. I want to give him some minutes. I would love to see him play. I think he's a promising talent. What we see in Nottingham Forest, he played really well against Arsenal, and James Garner should get some minutes. He also did well against Leicester. I'm hearing Liverpool as well, but Martinez, Eriksen, and Donny. That would be my midfield. On the right, Sancho. Sancho. On the left, I'd go with Garnacho. Up front, if Martial's fit, Martial or Ronaldo for me, one of those two. But it has to be that. Otherwise, I don't think we stand a chance against Liverpool, because McFred and Maguire and Luke Shaw, or Dalot, that defense is going to get destroyed. But
interesting, and you made
Yeah.
quite a lot of changes, and I hope you're right. I would love to see some changes to the lineup.
we
I
have
think
to make
we
changes.
need,
We have to
we
be
need that
ruthless
to
now.
happen. Yeah, we do.
But-
I agree. To round off, Akevin, just let me know what your score prediction is then for that game on Monday.
Your score prediction was 1-1. Was that right?
Correct.
Same. But I went
Like-
for a 1-1 draw. Like I said, I was talking with my grandfather earlier today. I said that United will be really. I think it will be good. No, it won't be good, but I'd say a draw is the most optimistic prediction I can give, because
Well, it's
we don't.
progress from being absolutely
Yeah,
battered by Brentford.
Because
isn't it? You know
we
what I mean?
can't
So-
score, and Liverpool have also struggled to start the season. I would be surprised if they beat us. I wouldn't be at all. I don't know
Yeah.
if us beating them might be a bit of a surprise, sadly, but I think I'm just gonna go for a 1-1 draw, because
1-1.
that's what I
Curtis
think.
has also gone for a draw as well.
I would love to go for a 2-1 Man United win, but I just don't know. I have to see the lineup first, then I'll give my final prediction then. But as of now, I think it's 1-1.
Love it. Akevin, thank you so much for joining me as always.
No problem.
Really enjoyable
One
chat.
last thing.
Let people, go on.
Green and gold till we are sold. Glazes out.
What?
Green and gold until we're sold. Glazes
Oh,
out.
yes. Sorry, I lagged a bit then, I think. I apologise.
No,
All I
no.
heard was Glaze. I
Yeah,
literally thought I heard Glaze say, yeah, green and gold. Got it
you
here.
can find me. You
I
can find
agree.
me at Akevin7 on Twitter, and Akevin_CR7 on Instagram. As Ronaldo's my favorite player, so obviously you're gonna have to go with Ronaldo on my username.
Go for it. Guys, make sure you
Yeah.
go and follow Akevin. Great views as always, and hopefully I'll get
Yeah.
you on again at some point.
Hopefully,
Have a lovely.
hopefully I can join the panel soon as well.
Yeah, definitely. You and Brush, we'll try and get you on at some point, and we'll do like a joint show for sure. Now the
Sure.
season's back up and running, there's plenty to talk about. I'm sure we'll have plenty of chances for that. But you
Yeah.
take care, Akevin. Thank you.
Take care. Big up, Sophie.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And to round off, guys, I've got Nippon, bless him, who I've seen he's out and about, and he's trying to get some signal, I'm guessing, for the stream. So I'm going to get him on very, very quickly. Nippon is a Chelsea fan. Nippon, how are you?
I'm good. I'm actually on my way back to London from holiday.
How are you? Oh, bless you. Have you had a good holiday?
I did. I went to Prague.
Oh, nice. I've never been to Prague, but I heard it's very nice.
Yeah, it's a very nice place. You must go there one day.
I will do. So you obviously you want to chat. I'm sure you've got plenty of things to talk about in terms of Chelsea. What's your thoughts on the start of the season and obviously your transfer business so far?
Look, first, there's a lot to talk about Chelsea, but right now there's a big elephant in the room right now, and that's Casemiro. I want to talk about him first, and then we'll talk about Chelsea. Look, he is one transfer I did not see happening.
Do you rate the transfer? Do you think it's a good move?
I do. Anyone who's saying he's too old, anyone saying he's too old for the Premier League, just give your head a wobble. We signed Silva at 30. I think he was 36 or 37 when we signed him. So I don't want to hear it when it comes to, when you're playing the age card. I don't want to hear it. He's not past his prime. You've got yourself a really quality midfielder on your hands.
I think the only downside to it for me is the fact that hasn't taken so long, but it's taken us so long to get a midfielder. I would rather that happen at the start of pre-season so it can obviously be embedded in and whatnot. It happening when the season's already started, obviously, is not ideal, is it?
Sure. But the thing is, I've noticed that a lot of people on Twitter are saying, will Casemiro improve the midfield around him, or will he be sucked into the dross happening around the midfield? That's something a lot of your fans are bringing concerns about. Like, will he improve the midfield?
We have a habit of turning world-class players into bang average players, don't we? Like, that has happened so many times in recent years.
Yeah.
I do think that the
and
nature of his character and what he's won and achieved in his career, you'd think he has got that winning mentality. You'd like to think, like Ronaldo, like Varane, even though we haven't seen much of Varane, of course, because of his injuries and whatnot. So I'm hoping, yes, he will improve us. Well, he will improve us, definitely. But I'm hoping mentality-wise as well, that's something that we've lacked. I feel like he has that. So yeah, exciting times to see him. But obviously, we all know there's. You said the elephant in the room. We all know there's bigger issues for us United fans to focus on right now that don't involve transfers. The best transfer we could have doesn't involve any players. So, yeah.
Look. I want you. Look. It's not just because we might be rivals, but we are rivals, not enemies. I hope the club is sold as well. I remember watching Man United as a kid. This isn't the Man
Yeah.
United I remember watching and playing against.
Yeah, appreciate that. That's very true words from you there.
I,
Alex,
I,
he said
I,
on
I
Chelsea,
really,
even though I am a United fan, sorry, Nick, when he says they were robbed against Spurs, that second goal should never have been allowed after that hair pull on Cucurella. What was VAR doing? I have to be honest, how can they not pull that back? You can't just pull someone's hair, surely, Nick, and I bet you were fuming after that.
look, you know what? I wasn't because I wasn't even surprised. There's like, you know what? Oh, I'm surprised this happened. I wasn't even surprised by this whole thing, this whole VAR thing. That's why I wasn't angry. I was like, why should I take out my anger on something I have no control over?
Yeah. True. So
So
obviously,
yeah,
in terms of your season, sorry, I was about to ask, like, what are your expectations for Chelsea this season? If no more business is done, obviously Fofana looks like he's coming in, so we include Fofana. If no more business is done, like, how are you feeling?
My expectation is, well, obviously we're not going to win the league. Unfortunately, that's going to be between City and Liverpool. My expectation is to somewhat challenge them and win a trophy. But what I realistically see happening is another top four battle and possibly a trophy.
Yeah. Do you know what? You sound depressed saying that, but as a United fan, I'd love to be in the top four battle. I just can't see us getting there. What's your thoughts on, Curtis has mentioned it, I was about to ask that. What's your thoughts on Pulisic being linked to us on loan as well?
Look,
You're smiling at
a
that.
lot of our fans don't rate him. You can have him.
Really? I know his injuries and stuff,
Look,
obviously, his age as well, that's a concern. But I remember when you signed him, a lot of people obviously saying he's a wonder kid, he's going to achieve big things, and it hasn't really worked out that way for him, has it?
Look, he's really good, but he's really injury prone as well. So
Yeah.
I don't see him working out even if you do get him.
Yeah, I mean, I'd take him. He definitely improves our front line 100%, but that injury does have to be. The thing
Of
with me, if
course.
we were having a loan, I would have to, like, for me, it would only be a successful deal if we had the option to buy at the end of it. That's the only way I could see that really being successful. Because of his injury record, because I do think it's a risk, but he definitely, ability-wise, he's better than not better than what we've got, but he improves our strength for what we've got, should I say.
Yeah, but I don't think we will sell him. Bowley did come out and say that he won't sell to a direct rival, so I don't think you guys will get him, and I don't think we'll sell him unless we have a replacement lined up.
Yeah, and Ziyech obviously is another one who's rumoured to be linked away. The rumours are if Anthony comes to us, Ajax will then go in for Ziyech, which does make sense as to why we haven't gone for him, I think.
And that sounds fair. By the way, they're fleecing you for that Anthony kid.
I know. But to be fair, when I'm seeing Morgan Gibbs White go to Forest for 44.5 million, I'm thinking, you know what? Everything's kind of out of perspective now. I'm just like, how on earth are they spending that kind of money on a kid who played 4 times, I think, in the Premier League? And when he was last in the Premier League with Wolves, he didn't play, he didn't cut it. He's only really been successful in the Championship. Like, for me, that was crazy money, especially after signing 15 players prior to him. Like, yeah, that baffled me a bit. So I think in terms of the market, I think it's just gone mad because 44.5 million for him is baffling to me.
I don't know if you saw a link in your private chat. I actually emailed you.
Oh, got it. Yeah,
I emailed you regarding. Yeah, just save that for Sunday.
Sunday, if I'm available, Nippon, I will definitely come up. But I will drop you a message to let you know. I won't just keep you hanging. I will let you know. Okay.
Okay. I'll check my junk mail as well because it sometimes does that.
Okay, no problem. But I will definitely get back to you. Nippon, before you go, obviously you're talking from an outsider looking in here, but Man United got Liverpool on Monday. Massive game. A weird game as well because of the start of the season we both had. Like, what's your prediction for that? How do you see that going?
I don't see. Look, a lot of fans have been saying, "Oh, it's going to be a battering for Liverpool, or a draw, and all that." I actually think it being a lot closer than a lot of people say. I think it's going to be a 2-1 either way. So it'll either be I see it either being a 2-1 United or a 2-1 Liverpool.
Not a bad show. I think because both the starts of the season for Liverpool and for us haven't been great, especially for us. But yeah, Liverpool hasn't been exactly flying. I do think this will be a lot closer, especially than last season. And I'd like to think these players have a bit of bounce back after being totally embarrassed last weekend. But we shall see. But Nippon, I can see you're very busy there and in a hectic. Is that train station you're in? So obviously I will wish you the best and say thank you so much. Oh, okay, airport. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Before you end the stream, sorry. When's the next call-in show?
So the next call-in, ideally I want to do it weekly. So I think Thursdays will be my best. This week's been different because I've been away and stuff. But next Thursday is when I'm planning to do it. Is that all right?
Yeah,
and I'm live
that's
tomorrow
fine.
at midday with Maisie.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you, Nippon.
Yeah.
Obviously, shout out your channel as well. Let people know where they can come and find you.
You can find me on NS Sports TV and the British Lifestyle Blogger. Road to 100 for my second channel and road to 1,000 for my main channel.
There you go. Go and make sure you give Nippon a subscribe. Thank you so much, Nippon. You take care.
Speak to you.
Oh, bless him. I didn't mean to cut him off there, but he's gone. He's gone. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's always good to listen to your views and get your thoughts on everything. Obviously, tomorrow, me and Maisie will be live at midday, giving you guys, a prediction, a lineup for that Liverpool game, and more of a preview. So that should be an interesting one because I'm sure we're both not looking forward to it, but we shall see. Casemiro might be done by then as well. Who knows? But yeah, thank you to everybody who's tuning in. Everyone in the chat, always supportive, always appreciate that. Drop a like on the video. If you are new, please subscribe to Ladies in Red. If I miss your chat, I apologise. Just put a comment underneath and I'll always check there afterwards as well. Enjoy your night. Have a lovely weekend. Keep smiling and I'll see you all soon.